In the beginning, there was a tangible cultural distinction between the clear, powerful voice of the elites and the pagan stammerings of the common people. Never would you dare imagine a peasant attending a Wagner opera, presumptuous to believe that a miner could appreciate the words of Dostoevsky or grasp the profound thought of Pascal or Spinoza. Ridiculous is the prospect of a modest craftsman's wife leaving home to attend theatrical performances, as much as a working-class man prefers to go to the bar rather than listen to the orchestral suites. The oral, bawdy, profane and vulgar culture of the little people would be to great works what a crippled alley cat is to the royal and solar dignity of a lion. To the poor, the work, the liberating satisfaction of knowing that the domain of the gods, though inaccessible, endures thanks to their labor. God's messengers are cultured, the people are honest and docile, as things have always been and always will be. Or so these old motherfuckers said right before they got guillotined. Hello everyone, Basilisk there, and today I'ma tell you 5 amazing facts about pop culture. Fact number 1. I think we can stop thinking of culture as a boring royal court thing in the early 20th century, with the democratization of cinema as a form of entertainment aimed at everyone. Swing, jazz, rock, television, radio, cartoon magazines. Particularly after the Second World War, with the advent of capitalism as a global model, along with globalization and scientific progress, the old dichotomy between filthy plebs and cultured bourgeoisie came to an end. Everyone's consuming culture, and everything rests on this word, consume. Art and culture become mass entertainment, and mass entertainment becomes a vital source of income for the global economy. Fact number 2. Thanks to the birth of this global culture, a people is united around it. Thanks to shared references, a collective imagination, classics, and cultural representations marked by their era. Rather than being a secret kept in a vacuum, culture gives full meaning to the notion of memetics. Ideas and images spread between individuals like a virus, thanks to the vectors of infection that are the media. Ideas are moving faster than ever before. Fact number 3. The elites of old have never disappeared, and neither have their memes. They have simply decided to metamorphose, from an upper caste locked away in its ivory tower, and leaving the little people to their lowly tasks, to an industrial machine feeding on the consumption of popular culture. This machine produces, directs and finances popular culture with the aim of propagating its own memes, using the people as a vector of infection, contaminating itself. From a master lounging comfortably in the sun reading a book while his slaves work to make him comfortable, power becomes the brain, the central computing unit of a single organism. An organism in which the people are the cogs, pipes, cables and servo motors. Fact number 4. The culture of the elite still exists. It has simply become esoteric and occult, hiding in the open. It's present in obscure auteur films, in contemporary art, in deconstructed things. It hides in plain sight in things that obscure their purpose and complexity, and requires a vast knowledge of the references and arcana of the artistic medium used. Elitism is no longer in the art itself, but in its deliberate intellectualization and complexification, with the aim of moving away from the simple, the felt, the profane, the cliché. Elitism is no longer in art and its execution, but in its apprehension. The appreciative ignoramus enjoys what speaks to his guts. The connoisseur analyzes the intertextuality of a work coldly and mechanically, and recognizes only what speaks to his knowledge of theory in all its applications and subversions. Class contempt is no longer a matter of cultural consumption. Class contempt is to be found in the analysis and critique of the latter. Fact number 5. By appropriating the culture they consider to be theirs, people evolve and subvert it, giving rise to countercultures. If countercultures can initially be seen as an evolution of the immune system, a genetic manipulation of the very same elites, they all too inevitably become puppets of the latter, quick to appropriate these mutations, adapt to them, and integrate them unashamedly into the mainstream. Once sterilized, devoid of all subversion, the gentrified version of these countercultures is injected into popular culture to maintain the illusion that the latter belongs to the people, while preventing them from building something that truly belongs to them. Blues and jazz and hip-hop were African-American countercultures. They have become the cash cows of the star system. Psychedelic rock is part of the discography of literally every single Parisian yuppie. The socialist-influenced manga and anime of the Osamu Tezuka era have given way to 40 interchangeable series every season. They give way to a plethora of stories for young teenagers extolling the virtues of hard work and motivation in the face of adversity, all produced by overworked animators destined to die prematurely under the workload. Punk is dead, and cyberpunk dead in memory. A major shock has shaken the foundations of human thought and propagation in recent decades. With the advent of modern communication technologies in the 80s and 90s, the entirety of human thought gradually became accessible to the greatest number. The culture of the elite has died in the face of its accessibility to anyone who dares to venture into it, at a time when even a working-class guy like myself can claim to cite Andrei Tarkovsky or Stanley Kubrick among his main creative influences, in between two tracks by Booba or PNL. Popular culture has become this impossible, self-replicating, oversaturated creature, ready at any moment to collapse under its own weight. Countercultures are born and buried every month, every week, most of them unable to survive in the face of the speed of information and the spread of memes. Authors draw from the genre and the B-movie, the genre draws from the auteur film, the mainstream draws from the underground perverts the mainstream to its own ends, boogie and pop become boogie pop. All previous models, rapidly disappearing, pulverized by the energy that the cosmogony of the new model radiates, collapsing and merging towards the same point of convergence in the creation of a global system. A megastructure where the sum of human thoughts propagates freely in the increasingly rapid data highways. As the individual becomes his own counterculture, his own meme, the metaphorical and metaphysical human noosphere materializes in a tangible global brain. And Nooculture? If this megastructure of the mind has its merit in the death of cultural contempt, the end of artistic exclusivity and total intertextuality, we mustn't forget, despite its dazzling technological evolution, who is at the controls of this imposing machine, of the horrible machine bleeding to death. If there is no well-being under a capitalist model, if there is no ethical and eco-responsible consumption under a capitalist model, there is no reason why there should be a viable artistic sandbox under a capitalist model. Cyberspace, as a vector of mimetic propagation, remains above all the most essential tool for terminal capitalism and the formulation of these hyper-normal narratives of reality. The plurality, or rather, the hypersaturation, of all the subcultures that make up the Nooculture means that there is no common ground around strong common references. Everything becomes isolated in an aesthetic individualism and a near-total cultural balkanization, where each and every one takes refuge in his or her own niche, their own little pond, letting out only whatever truth suits them in the putrid ocean at large that is the public sphere. We become isolated in this information overload, overconnected but disconnected, hyper-stimulated but in a state of social and emotional blindness. The virus is spreading. Everyone is connected to central control, but no one is interconnected. The status quo clogs the guts of the megastructure and prevents the creation of a united front of all subcultures against the hyper-parasitic machine, using them as puppets and vampirizing them. A botnet networking a vast assembly of organic batteries that see to its computing power, to its cancerous propagation devoid of any sense of purpose. Don't tweet, don't react, don't share, Don't watch, don't read, don't give your opinion, don't feel, don't spread. Thank you for paying attention to this ripple in the middle of the maelstrom. May you find your true home and preserve it. Remember that only in total darkness can you discern the flickering glow of embers.